Hey there, Taylor from the Girl on Blur blog, and I am back with another meal prep breakfast win for those of you who struggle with eating first thing in the morning. Let me introduce you to this easy 10-minute meal prep idea. Chia seed pudding. This is one of the easiest recipes you'll ever make, and it's so perfect for meal prep because you can literally prep the jars ahead of time, you grab one and go every single day of the week. But here's the best part. You can switch up the flavors with different add-ins and toppings so you don't feel as though you have to eat the same thing every single day. Genius, am I right? With just 4 easy ingredients, chia seed pudding is one of those simple recipes you should have in your arsenal for busy weeks where you know you might fall off the healthy eating train. There's really no excuse to skip breakfast when you know that you had these jars on hand in the fridge. Same thing goes for healthy snacking because you can totally use these jars as a quick and easy pick-me-up in the afternoon. I'm talking healthy sugars from the fruit, some protein from the Greek yogurt, and chia seeds. You really can't go wrong with this combo. I don't know about you, but I hate breakfast. I know this is gonna cause a huge debate and you breakfast lovers are really gonna hate on me, but I just can't be bothered to eat breakfast. It's definitely a bad habit of mine, but I just don't get super hungry until late in the morning, and then by the time I do want to eat breakfast, I'm so hungry that I feel as though I can't even wait 5 minutes to scramble some eggs. Maybe it doesn't help that I am a super impatient person, but I swear breakfast is just one of those meals I really struggle with because I feel like I don't need it, then all of a sudden I gotta eat something right away or I'm super hangry. I can't be the only one who's fallen into this trap in the morning. Because I know who I am and I hate doing this to myself, one of the best ways to prevent the breakfast hanger is to ensure that I already have it prepped and ready to go ahead of time. And that's where this easy chia seed pudding comes in handy. Now, I've spent the past however long ranting and raving about my breakfast issues, in part because I gotta make these YouTube videos 5 minutes long, and this chia seed pudding only takes like 2 minutes to put together, as you'll soon see. I'm not kidding. This is probably one of the quickest recipes I have on my blog, so when I say there's zero excuse not to prep them ahead of time, I am quite serious. So let's break down what's in my chia seed puddings. First up, grab an 8-ounce mason jar. You can find mason jars online at your local hardware store or at most big box stores, and you can sometimes find them at grocery stores. I've linked to the mason jars I use below this video, so check them out if you're interested. I have a gazillion on hand in a variety of different sizes because they do come in handy for other meal prep recipes such as soups and salads, so I recommend that you get a bunch for your kitchen. Oops, I'm rambling to stretch out the YouTube video again. Sorry about that. Okay, so you're going to add 1/4 cup of plain Greek yogurt and 2 tablespoons of chia seeds to the bottom of each mason jar. Please note that what I'm sharing here today and what's listed out in the recipe card on my blog is 1 serving only. So you are going to want to add the above ingredient amounts to each mason jar. I personally like making chia puddings 1 at a time in each mason jar to avoid a ton of cleanup, because if you make a big batch, then you have to mix everything together in a large mixing bowl. So you've just created a bunch of dishes, and then you have to portion the mixture out into mason jars, which also risks making a mess. By making the puddings 1 at a time in each mason jar, you can also control how many of them you're making at a time. For instance, if you know that you get sick of eating the same thing every day, but just want to prep a bit in advance, maybe you'll only want to make the 3 jars that you eat every other day and have something else for breakfast in between. Making the jars 1 at a time just allows you that flexibility, and honestly, the mess situation is real. I feel like most people enjoy cooking, but it's the cleanup that prevents them from following through sometimes. Ain't nobody got time for a bunch of dishes. So once you have your Greek yogurt and chia seeds added, you're going to mix them together with some sweetener like honey. I like to add these thicker ingredients first and get them all mixed up before I add the final ingredient, which is almond milk. If you prefer to skip the sweetener, you can add any flavor of Greek yogurt, but just keep in mind that it'll make it harder to control the added sugars and might pack on a few more calories. I prefer to use Greek yogurt, just plain Greek yogurt I should say, then add a tiny bit of honey or maple syrup. Another way to add natural sweetness without having to add a sweetener is to mash up half a banana and mix it with the Greek yogurt and chia seeds. I'd say half a banana per jar would work. The only downside is that the banana won't keep for as many days in the fridge as my original recipe, but it should still hold up for at least 2 or 3 days, so there is that option if you're just making a couple jars to get your week started. At this point, you can also choose to add in some mix-ins to create different flavor profiles such as cocoa powder, vanilla extract, almond extract, or shredded coconut. Even peppermint extract and cocoa powder would make a delicious mint chocolate flavor, so feel free to get creative here, because it's a great way to feel as though you aren't eating the same thing every single day. That's how meal prep gets a bad rap, the whole repetition thing. So definitely feel free to switch it up here since it's easy to do jar by jar. Once you've got the base of your chia pudding, it's time to add in some almond milk. Feel free to use regular dairy milk or any other type of dairy-free milk such as coconut milk, oat milk, soy milk, or cashew milk. You just want a little bit of extra liquid because the chia seeds will expand and form a creamy pudding-like consistency after sitting for a while. Now, sometimes people have issues with the chia seeds clumping together, so if you want to make sure that you mix everything up, let it sit for a minute or two and then stir again. again. What you can also do is prevent clumping by stirring them after they've sat for an hour or so. This should help. Once you've got all your chia puddings, pop them into the fridge and let them sit for at least 2 hours. Overnight is preferable, but they are definitely good to go after a couple hours. We all know how impatient I am, so for you fellow impatient people like me, this is the absolute minimum of how long you should wait for. You do want those chia seeds to start to expand and form that pudding-like consistency, so please don't try going to eat them after just 5 minutes. Trust me, I tried it, it just doesn't work like that. When you're ready to eat these little jars of goodness, I recommend topping them with some fruit just to add in some extra fiber and nutrients, and you can even add some extra toppings such as shredded coconut, nuts and seeds, granola, whatever else your heart desires. You can eat them right out of the mason jar, so they're also great for taking to work or anything else that you happen to be doing on the go. And there you have it, the easiest 4-ingredient snack or breakfast you'll ever make. I've got you covered with a ton of other easy breakfast and snack ideas on the blog, so be sure to head over if you're looking to up your meal prep game this year. I've linked to my breakfast and snack archives below this video to make it easy for you. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.